Okay, so we're gonna go through Metars, TAFs, and a little bit on Winds Aloft to kind of see what we look at to make a no go decision if we're just gonna hang out in the pattern or go up and do maneuvers or anything like that. And so we're on aviationweather.gov right now. We can go to the home page, and this is what it looks like. Super useful website. When you have the chance, go back and poke around, look at the forecast tab, and if you have any questions, of course, let me know and I'll be happy to help you with it. If we go ahead and scroll down to METARs, we'll put in KJWN for Kjwn. I always include the TAF and we get the METAR data. This is our METAR, and so the METAR is a scheduled observation that's taken between the 55th and the 59th minute past the hour. And if there is any sort of amendment that needs to happen to the METAR that's not in between that time frame, they will produce what's called a SPECI, which is a special report. And a SPECI is published whenever there's like a dramatic change in weather. So if the field is VFR and then goes to IFR in the middle of the hour, they'll publish a SPECI to, of course, report that. And so I took a screenshot of this earlier that we can go and look at over here. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll edit this so we can look at each individual portion of it. So the first part is our airport identifier. Airport ident. And then another cool thing about the METAR is it's the same information that's given to us on our ATIS. So when we're sitting in the plane getting the weather, this is what we're going to get. Of course, if it hasn't changed yet, which is why we always check the weather before we go up. And then the next part is the time frame that this was published. So we've got the 18th day of the month at 1750 Zulu, 18th at 1750 Zulu. And then for reference, right now it's about 1830 Zulu. So this was like 40 minutes ago. And then we have our winds, which is where things start getting interesting. So we have our wind direction at 180. So if we want to land with a headwind at Kjwn, we'd be landing on runway 20, which is going to give us that minimal crosswind. So we got a direction, and then we have our velocity of the wind. So right now we're at 13, gusting 21. So the wind can be anywhere between 13 to 21 knots, which is pretty substantial. And then the next part is our visibility, which is 10 statute miles right here. And so on a METAR, it's never going to say anything over 10 statute miles. So even if the visibility is unlimited, it'll still just be that 10 statute miles. And then we have our cloud coverage. So we have skies clear right here. Clear skies / clouds. Cool. And then the next portion is our temperature and our dew point. So this is our temp in Celsius. And then we have our dew point in Celsius. And so the closer these two numbers together is the higher probability of there being visual moisture in the air and lower visibility. So like smoke, or not smoke, but any sort of haze, fog, things like that. And then the last part is our altimeter setting. And we can use that to check our pressure altitude, density altitude, anything of that nature. All right, so next we'll look at a TAF so we can see what the weather is going to be like later, because this is for right now. And so if we go back to aviationweather.gov, as we can see, we included the TAF. Kjwn doesn't have a TAF. And so what a TAF is like I said, it's a terminal area forecast. So it's a forecast for what the field's going to look like later on in the day or within a 24-hour period. But the cool thing about being so close to an international airport is they have a TAF. And so we'll go ahead and look up Kbna and we'll include our TAF. And same thing I did earlier, I went ahead and took this so we can go ahead and dissect this together to look at what the weather is going to be looking like when we're going to fly around 2100 Zulu. So first off, we'll go through the different parts of this. So this right here is the Metar. And then we'll do blue. This portion is our TAF. And so we use this TAF to look at what our weather will look like for us when we go up in a couple hours. And so we'll decode our Metar first. So we've got Kbna, our airport identifier, national, international, 18th day of the month, 1653 Zulu. And our winds are 190 at 15, gusting 23 knots, 10 statute miles of visibility. And then we've got some interesting clouds over here. Not super interesting, but definitely a little bit more than Kjwn. We've got few clouds at 4,800 feet, scattered clouds at 17,000 feet, so that's 17,000. Broken clouds at 24,000 feet, so 24,000 feet. And the few scattered and broken, are all different levels of cloud coverage. And those altitudes are above ground level. So it's giving us our cloud cover above the ground. And it's only giving us the bottoms of the clouds. We don't have the tops. They don't have a way of giving those to us, but we can look at pilot reports to see if any pilots have reported tops of clouds, which can be really helpful for us. And then the next part, we've got our temperature in Celsius. So it's 28 degrees Celsius outside. Dew point's 12. Altimeter setting is 299 or 4. And then we have a remarks setting. Most big airports have these remarks. What degree? And it just gives us extra information. And so the first part is this AO2. So this means that we have a precipitation sensor at Kbna. So they can tell us how much rain was raining for however long and when it was, and it's overall just really helpful. And then the next part is another pressure setting. So this is sea level pressure 133. So that's in sea level pressure in millibars, which is similar to our altimeter setting. It's just like a different way to decode it and a different kind of setting for it. And then this next part is our temperature and dew point again. So the 0283 is our temperature, is going to be 082.3 degrees Celsius. And then the next part, 0122, is our dew point in 012.2 degrees Celsius, which is just a little bonus information. The point degrees can be really helpful if you're trying to make precise calculations. So yeah, that's our Metar at Kbna, and then we'll go into our TAF. Our TAF. And so the first part is pretty much the same, and anything that's coded in the Metar is going to be the same code markings essentially in the TAF. So we've got Kbna, and then we've got the time frame, or the time that this was created, this observation, or this forecast was made. So 18th day of the month, 1722 Zulu. And then the next part, this 1818, 1918, is our validity period for the TAF. So it's valid from the 18th day at 1800 Zulu to the 19th day at 1800 Zulu. So that's going to be a 24-hour forecast is what we see here. And then the next part, just like the Metar, it's our winds. So we're at 190 at 17, gusting 24 knots. And this right now is the part of the TAF that's active, because this is the time frame that we're in right now. And then we've got P6 statute miles, and the way that I read that is +6 statute miles. So that's our visibility again. And unlike our Metar, the P6 SM is going to be the highest visibility that a TAF can give us. So the Metar is 10, the TAF is that P6. So that can be 6 statute miles, 7, 10, 11, and unlimited visibility. Doesn't matter. It will always say that +6 statute miles if it's over 6 statute miles visibility. And then we've got our cloud covers at 4,000 feet. And then we've got a scattered layer at 15,000 feet. And so what we really want to look at for our time, because we're going up at 2100 Zulu, is our next part of the TAF. And so if we look at the next part, so this is the time it starts, this part of the TAF, from the 18th day of the month at 2000 Zulu. So this is what we want, the one that we really want to focus on. And so just like before, we've got our winds, and this is concerning to me. This part of it is when it starts getting concerning for our flight later, because we've got this wind. So we've got 220 at 13 gusting 21 knots. Not great. And it's going to be a little bit of a crosswind, but not too much. We've got good visibility later. We've got the 6+ statute miles. But then we've got a bunch of stuff at the end too, which is also very concerning. So what this VCTS means is thunderstorms in vicinity. So this means that we're going to have thunderstorms in the vicinity of the airport at 2000 Zulu, which does not make for an awesome ride. And then the next part of the TAF, we got the wrong color. This next portion right here is showing that we have this CB means cumulonimbus. So we've got a broken level of cumulonimbus clouds at 10,000 feet. And as I'm sure you can assume, these cumulonimbus, these thunderstorm clouds, make for an incredibly unstable environment for an aircraft, especially a GA aircraft to be flying around. So we've got broken cumulonimbus clouds at 10,000 feet. So not looking awesome for that. And then you might be asking, hey, when is that going to end? This is just a forecast. There's a bunch of different times. So then we look at the next one, the next validity, or the next forecast period. So that's from the 19th day of the month at 0300 Zulu, which is going to be sometime this evening. I think it's probably going to be maybe around midnight, I think is what it is, maybe a little bit before 10 p.m. And then we've got the same thing. We've got our winds. Winds are coming down. It looks like those thunderstorms are moving away. We've got winds 220 at 7 knots. Still our +6 statute miles of visibility. And a scattered layer at 10,000. Moving along about 7 hours later, which is going to be sometime this evening into the early morning hours, the 19th day of the month at 1000 Zulu. We've got our winds going 200 at 4 knots, +6 statute miles visibility. We've got those thunderstorms in the vicinity of the airport again. We've got a broken layer of cumulonimbus clouds, a little bit lower than what we're going to have later today, about 8,000 feet. And then we've got an overcast layer. So that's a solid layer of clouds at 5,000 feet. And then after that, we've got 19th day of the month at 1200 Zulu. We've got our winds again, 220 at 5 knots, +6 statute miles of visibility, overcasted 25. So it looks like things are going to be clearing up. And then our last forecast for this period is going to be from 19th day of the month, 1600 Zulu. Winds are going to be 230 at 9 knots, gusting 14, +6 statute miles of visibility, which we love to see, and then another broken layer at 5,000.